Hey, Rich.
Hey Frank, how you doing?
Bad. How are you?
I'm doing great. I was excited to hear that news this morning.
So was I. Great day. Great few days, actually.
Yeah, and we're live right now.
Yep.
So we've got some members here, and I've got some questions for you.
Go
So,
ahead, please.
guys, just so everyone knows, we're here with Frank Carnevale, the Chief Growth Officer of Universal PropTech, which had some really big news today. And do you want to break the news?
Sure, sure.
Go ahead, Frank.
So today we announced, so everyone knows we've had some indoor air quality equipment that we've had access to over the last number of months. And I've told people there's a lag effect of when things happen. And so this morning we announced that there was a purchase order we received of over, well, between $6.5 to $10 million Canadian of air quality equipment, indoor air quality equipment. So that will roll out. Our cut of that is about $350,000 to $500,000 check, and that will be coming in this quarter or into the Q1 of the next fiscal year in the coming months.
Wow. And can you give us a sense of how big this announcement is that Universal PropTech expands distribution of Air Sniper products across Canada and exploring sales into the United States of America?
Yeah, of course it's huge because we for certain products we secured. In this case, we secured Air Sniper. We secured Eastern Canada from an exclusivity perspective. But now, and other things are playing out. We know how good products can be and how they're working, and so we're taking a more national and international approach to it. So, people want us to be more international. We're on the OTCQB. We're in Frankfurt. We're really trying to look at where we can spread our wings across different borders, and we're well on our way to doing that now.
So, what changes for UPI now today after this news?
You know, it's a great question because what changes is, so you tell me, right? I'm looking forward to questions. From a credibility perspective, we kept telling people what we were doing, what the game plan was. And so what changes? We're going to go get many more of these, right? So the game plan is go drive adoption of this, go get more of this, these IAQ orders coming out. And it's only now starting, right? So even though the government and other people started releasing some of these funds a few months ago, it's only now starting to play out. So we're going to go like gangbusters into all these organizations, institutions, schools, universities, cities, and very quickly and very hard and aggressively market our products. So that, from that perspective, it's great. And you think about it, we went into some of these products when other people didn't know them. So we wanted to prove our worth. We went in, we made a bet on some of these technologies, and they're now paying off in a big way. That also means when I go get other distributors or other dealers and want to sign up other talent to support us, they can now see the proofs in the pudding that we've accomplished it, and that, wow, this is a great product to be attached to. So, more to come, but it's credibility all around. Your viewers, everyone want to know that we can deliver, and we're delivering.
Absolutely. Are Air Sniper products available in the US right now?
There are. So, I mean, Air Sniper is one of the examples. Can be bought really, yeah, in the US, no problem. I think we just need to figure out from the Friday's announcement, we need to figure out what are those right partnerships. We're not going to go retail and just sell to everyone who wants to buy a unit. We need to find the right strategic partnerships, dealers, another sort of distributor underneath us. We're a master distributor to really help take that to market. These discussions are ongoing, underway, and stay tuned.
So, what's the plan to grow your sales in the US? So, obviously, you guys intend to go into the US and grow in the US. What's the plan for the United States?
So if I step back from a business perspective, I think in the coming months, we're definitely looking at how do we scale, how do we deliver more in Canada. We need to continue to do that, improve our knitting in this country and get that done right. And we're obviously looking at, opportunistic opportunities south of the border. But, we've been hard at work on our strategic plan. I think I mentioned the other day, we're hard at work understanding where and how we're going to get there. The US will be a big part of that. And, but certainly it's growing from a regional perspective and filling in the opportunities within the Canadian perspective first. And we'll see how things roll out in the coming months in the US.
Is there a sector or industry UPI has on its radar specifically for Air Sniper products?
Um, Definitely. I mean, I think what we've been doing is the educational sector by far, right? So primary, secondary, post-secondary, these are people who in many parts of the country haven't been in classes. And so how do you make sure they get back into classes? We're going to get ready to scale that, help with some of the procurements and the installation of all that equipment. I mean, the pull-through is a big piece here. And then besides that, it's government. So even if Tony's Pizzeria decides it doesn't want a UV product or something, or even COVID tests, rapid testing to keep people out who are sick. Who's going to do it? We know that government, education. They want to make sure that if someone's entering a courthouse, a jailhouse, or a jail, an education facility, swimming pools, I mean, take your pick. They want to make sure that these people are safe and that parents and people who use them know that they're safe. So I think that procurement will continue to grow in those market segments, and that's a really big part of what we do as a company today.
What's next for UPI?
What's next? We are going to capitalize on this, right? So we were waiting for this announcement. We're going to capitalize on the fact that we can now sign up more dealers, distributors, actually unleash them into the markets. We want to unleash them and support them. And it just does wonders for our own staff and our own resources who, want to see how some of this plays out. So we're having a really good few days, really good week and a half, actually, but a lot of announcements coming out, more to come. So what's next is we're going to scale this organically. We're going to continue to push out more deals and secure more deals and start turning that corner into acquisitions.
So let's break this deal down. So
yep.
It says 6.5 to 10 million, and your commission is 350,000 and 500,000.
In that range, yeah. So the reason why there's a discrepancy is, so this customer has a number of facilities, a number of ways that they could have these products be installed. And so there's a lot of scoping, which product goes in, the size of it. So there's a lot to still figure out. We know that range. We're very comfortable with that range with the IAQ manufacturer. And this will play out literally in the coming weeks, max months. But every last dollar we will get will be in before the end of this calendar year. Okay,
great. And this is a subsidiary, so this revenue will be booked on the UPI balance sheet, correct?
So that's why, I mean, we're careful how to do it. I think going forward, there's a lot more of the revenue we will probably book under distributors and dealers going forward. We'll figure out how best to do that. So I mean, that would be almost double, close to double our revenue. So we're not taking the revenue of 6.5 to 10 million indirectly, but we'll be getting a commission check, which is really gross profit for the 350 to 500,000. So let's put this in perspective. The last big announcement was, roughly $550,000 building control system. That's gross revenue, and there's margin in there. We're talking about almost the equivalent of that in pure profit coming our way in a check. I think that's a pretty good deal.
Okay, so you're going to get just the profit that will be added to your balance sheet on this transaction.
Just the profit. Listen to yourself, Rich. Just the profit.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Hey, pure profit. I mean, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So when we were on the show last week, you said that you wanted to grow the company to $100 million a year company. And a week later, we have a $6.5 to $10 million deal. So this is definitely a good sign of what's to come.
Yeah.
Any hints?
Yeah.
Any hints on other stuff that you guys are working on, or any things that we can look forward to as investors?
I think the media release says it all. There's other things we're talking to people about. There's other deals we're working on. And I think I said this the other day, it's important that we take these successes. I mean, we know we're going to have more organic sales success in the coming weeks and months, but it's also laying the foundation of, okay, we've got a great story, a great narrative, great success. How do we turn that into hiring talent, bringing more talent in, buying businesses? How do you get more businesses to want to sell to you over the next guy and take shares, or take a better deal because they want to hang on to our shares for a ride? So all this starts to play out now. So we're in our fourth quarter of this fiscal year, and I think we're going to have one hell of a next year for sure.
So when I saw the press release, it said that this will happen in Q4 of 2020 or Q1 of 2021.
Well, no, not or. It's going to happen over both, right? We already know that there's equipment being shipped out in the next week or so. So we're in Q4. There will be payments we'll be receiving in Q4, and whatever's left will be received certainly in Q1 of this next fiscal year, starting September. So it's not a long time frame. It will start coming in. So we'll see where and when we apply that, but certainly coming in Q4 and Q1 of the next year.
We've noticed that the volume on the stock has really grown.
Yeah.
I think your average, I was looking at it today, your average 3-month daily trading volume was about 280,000 shares a day. And I didn't look at last, but I think you're over 2 million today.
Yeah.
So 10x the average daily volume. What does that mean to you when you see 10 times the volume coming into the stock?
I'm very excited. This was by design. I said this a few weeks ago. I think in hindsight, there's so many singles and doubles I kept saying to people that we hit all day long, every day, every week. And we need to do a better job of conveying that to people. So we're now doing that better job, and we're bringing out these deals, the building control system for film studios, for the HVAC asset company, being a mechanical provider to them. This type of almost $500,000 of gross profit coming in our door. These are deals that will continue to be rolled out and announced because, we have them in our arsenal. And there's other stuff too, as everyone knows. We've made a great investment in a sub 20-second rapid test, right? That's in clinical trial for COVID. So there's a lot of things we're working on, and we just need to continue to make sure that more information comes out. I think that's the real big driver around, obviously, the success, but around why volume's up, is that people are seeing there's real work being done, real value. It's a real business. This isn't just putting out fluff. This is real.
Typically when, I've been in this game for a long time, and typically when you start seeing the stock trade really good volume, you're going to get a lot of phone calls. Hey, you need money? Hey, you need money? Is the phone starting to ring for funders trying to, do something with you guys? Because
I think they've been ringing for a while, but today's been an interesting day, or the last few days. Definitely. In fact, I love the getting requests from other people who want to be distributors of products, dealers, other products. That's been exciting today. A number of companies approaching us to want to take their product line. So we'll continue to do what we need to do to grow this business.
Have you thought about looking outside the box? I'll give you an example. So one of the clients that we work with.
Haven't yet? You don't think we have?
Well, I want to show you what these guys have done, which is crazy. So one of the clients that we work with, Tat Global Alternatives, which is a nicotine-free tobacco company, was advertising at the Floyd Mayweather Logan Paul fight yesterday. They had members wearing their hats, and they had Floyd Mayweather doing sponsorship for their product line. And that one video on Instagram got like over 2 million views. Yeah. Definitely thinking outside the box. Yeah. I'm not saying you do that, but they're a company that's doing everything they can to think outside the box and grow their brand. And they're doing a lot of different odd strategies to just get visibility on the stock and the product. Is that something that you guys are looking to do? Maybe look outside the box a little bit more to find different ways to get more eyeballs on the security and eyeballs on your story?
Yes, 100%. Ongoing conversations to make it, again, it's harder to get people interested in being part of guerrilla marketing and doing something out of the box and interesting, unless you have interesting things to say and present. So we're now going down the path of, oh, wait a second, these guys are getting these interesting deals and they're announcing this and announcing that. So, you need a solid foundation of getting success of the announcements we made, less than 2 quarters ago. You need that success to have people say, I want to become part of it. And that was a really key piece to a method to our madness. And 100% we're looking at all those things.
So there's a lot of people starting to say that COVID-19 is ending, that things are getting better, that the world is going to open. Here in Vancouver, we actually just started sports again. We had shut down for seems like 7 months, and now my son can play soccer again. My daughter couldn't do gymnastics, but it was 7 months of no sports. Do you think that if we do get past this, or if we become a lot better, let's say with COVID-19 and what's happening, that's going to hurt the momentum you guys are building? Will that have any effect on you guys at all? Because that's something that a lot of people are kind of asking about.
The momentum, I mean, it's a great point. The momentum is building because now that schools and facilities are opening, well, you need to make sure you have, never mind that you need to make sure, let's back up a second. What percentage are we going to have of the population that will be fully vaccinated, and by when? So that's a key determinant, right, of how comfortable everyone will be opening up their businesses. We're doing well at the moment. We're up to 70% of the first shot. I had my second shot yesterday, feeling pretty good. But you need, the herd immunity concept is sort of gone, because unless you're closing up your economy and not letting anyone in, even if you achieved a significant level, there are a number of variants globally. I mean, you can't, look at the lessons of the Spanish flu. You can't just say, oh, we licked it and it's dealt with. It's not. And and we have a pretty multicultural society in Canada. And as long as people can move around, travel, see family, work, outside of our borders, not that that's where the issue comes from. It's just the variants are changing rapidly, right? They're mutating. And so that's the challenge beyond beyond the actual vaccines and their effectiveness. They're being challenged. And maybe the dam hasn't broken yet with respect to variants passing the effectiveness of the actual vaccines. And we know that they're being impacted. We've heard numbers. So I think it's great to say that, yes, it will happen. And I cannot wait. My kids are very excited. Let's open up the economy more and get people out and about. But, I was reading today, some parts of the United States, 45% take up, right, of their vaccine. That's not going to end well, right? So as long as the way that these viruses,
what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean?
Well, I mean, if you don't get to a reasonable number, whatever number is left in your pool. So if we have 30-40% of the people left, who, it's not like they all congregate in one place. They're going to be among us, right? They're going to go to the same schools as our kids. They're going to go to the same, businesses and malls and everything. As long as there's a 30-40% of that group who aren't getting vaccinated, it means that they're giving life to whatever variants come out of, whatever mutations come out of COVID. And so as long as because those mutations need to survive, as long as they can continue to survive in that audience, then they make people who are vaccinated more susceptible. That's part of the challenge here, is that, not to scare people, but, you need to get vaccinated, because that's certainly a key component to this. So let me get it back to your question. Yes, we're going to open up the economy more and movie theaters and do these things, but it doesn't mean you don't test. It doesn't mean you don't take precautions and you don't have masks, or you don't, you have to continue to find ways of keeping, viruses out of buildings and keeping them safe. So what are we seeing? We're definitely going to see a massive elevation of people buying UV or other clean air purification technologies, for sure. We've only seen, some of that start in some of these provinces. It's now about to be unlocked going into the fall season. We see a lot of that. So that's a tremendous value for our business, because if people are going back to the schools, someone has to sell them something and someone has to install it. And that's not an easy task. That's going to take a number of months to get done. In addition to that, whether it's surface testing, whether it's surveillance of when there is a kid or a teacher or a custodial staff, someone who's sick with COVID, because it will happen. What then is going to be the leave behind for that school, for that organization? Are they closing the cohort again, sending them home? All these things have to be figured out. But it's so important that we all get vaccinated. But beyond that, how are we going to be managing the opening of the economy so that people stay safe for the next few years? I mean, it took many years for the Spanish flu to become the flu, right? It's just there's a certain evolution of it, and we're in that phase. So I think from our business, the UV, improving HVAC equipment, indoor air quality sensors, ways to monitor the quality in rooms and facilities will continue to escalate, and we'll be pretty busy with that for the coming months and year, for sure.
Bill Gates has come out and said that we need to vaccinate so that we can get past this and then be ready for the next virus.
Yeah.
So one of the things I've been trying to tell people is like, because a lot of people are like, oh, we're going to get past this. And I'm like, well, even if we do, we need to be prepared for what potentially could come next. So if we do get past this and things do get better, I believe the world has to take a better preventative approach.
Yeah.
So that if in the future something like this happens again, we're ready. Is that something you guys are thinking about? Like, okay, you know what? We can't just think about what we're going to do for what's going on today, but we also want to take advantage of being ready so that if in the future something else comes, we're going to be the biggest game in town. Because
I think, Rich, we're seeing that everywhere. All these there were organizations that I mean, think about it. If it wasn't in your lifetime and you're in charge of the business continuity plan of an organization, you're not exactly thrilled with, gee, do we really have to do pandemic training? You know, are we really going to have to do, you know? So I think the reality of what we've just gone through and continue to go through will be around for decades to come. And every organization, any credible organization, will have to look at paying for that insurance policy beyond just insurance. But what do we do if something like this happens again, or a breakout, or some other issue? Can we continue to operate in our facility? Is our air quality good? Like, what do we do to manage that going forward? I think all these organizations will be dealing with remnants of this and improving their foresight going forward on how they look at this. There are large organizations, you would be shocked, that do not do pandemic training, and that will never happen again. They will do pandemic training in a regular occurrence of their business for their business continuity or any other, you know, risk issue within the company. And I think, and I've said this publicly for a while, all of this for sure has elevated the priority of indoor air quality, that state of indoor air quality, and how you measure it, how you monitor, how you address it is now a far more elevated priority capital item, never mind OpEx, but a capital item for these facilities going forward. And for sure that will bring additional products, sales, installation services. This is just the new norm going forward.
Can I ask you a question about David Barry?
Yeah.
Just the members are asking, they haven't heard anything about him, and he's come so highly acclaimed. Any updates on what David's role is or what he's doing with the company?
David communicates with our CEO, and they've had a number of conversations, and you know, different ideas. He's an advisor, so different ideas are being run by David along with Chris, our CEO, and that happens quite regularly.
Great.
So he was out of the country for a while. I'm not too sure if he's officially back up at his cottage, but like they've been coordinating a number of discussions.
So do you guys all work together when you guys are putting these?
That's a good point. We only have a few advisors. Each advisor has a very different skill set, which is why they're advisors in what we're trying to do. We haven't to date made it a more sort of central function. It's really more individual conversations and coordinating strategies with different advisors, and more will come when it makes sense to do things more centrally, and maybe we'll do that. But at the moment, each one of them brings a certain skill set and knowledge base that we utilize as needed.
You guys have a good team, a very strong team that I'm really impressed with, and so is our community.
Thanks, Rich.
We've been talking here at Rich TV Live that you know, the way we're accumulating shares, soon we're going to be a big piece of UPI ourselves here, our community, because we just keep buying the stock and buying the stock. Is there any other big names or strategic partners that you guys are planning to bring in? Or are you guys just happy with the team that you have right now?
Well, I mean, when you say the team we have right now, we will get to the point where acquisitions will become a much larger component going forward. And what comes with that are our team members and expertise. We'll continue to do that. A lot of the partnerships and discussions we're having will come with a lot of interesting expertise and knowledge and contacts. So, you know, it's absolutely going to change and improve. You know, we're trying to be as prudent as we can. We're growing the business organically in the way that we've been doing it. But, you know, once certain growth is achieved and other acquisitions occur, our bench will get stronger and deeper and better, and big focus for us.
So typically, I think what you're referring to is if you acquire a company, that company will have a board member that will join your board. Is that what you're referring to?
Well, and I mean, if you're meaning resources at the board level, we're always looking to beef up resources from a board and advisory perspective for sure. But each acquisition comes with talent, right? Executive or that range talent that can help run pieces of the business and add another layer of sophistication to it from various, controls, processes. Every time we acquire or invest in other organizations, there will be additional talent we'll have access to. Because if you acquire a business, even if we bought a $10 million business, there's talent in that business that we're now going to own. And so the goal that I have, and when I'm looking at the growth perspective, is how do you integrate all those assets so that we're making the sum of the whole greater, right? And then it's individual parts. So that has to be part of the objective is, what gaps do we have in the business that we could fill with acquisitions as well. It's not easy. It's not, it's a bit of an art form of, as you're acquiring and growing, what resources and what order allow you to have sustainable growth. And we have fun with this every week.
If there was one thing you'd want shareholders to know about UPI today, UPIPF in the US, what would it be? $350,000 to $500,000 commission check is a great sign of success. And we hope people who are paying attention ask yourself, what would have held you back previously to taking a bigger role? What would have been, that's a pretty significant commission check that comes in, it's gross profit. So I think that's a sign of things to come. It certainly should make you think, maybe we're the real deal guys. Maybe you should be looking at us a bit more seriously is what I'd say. Yeah, I think a company that's undervalued, underappreciated, underexposed, tight share structure, no debt, growing revenue, strong board. It seems like you guys are checking off every single box. We do have one question here from Q Christian Trader.
Yeah,
what
please.
Patents do they hold, and what's their advantage over competitors?
So from our perspective, that I love that question because it goes to the heart of what we're trying to build as we go forward. So think of it this way: of all the products and solutions that we're going to have to go to market, there's no need. So if as an example, you make an amazing TV, there's a TV on the other side of it, you make an amazing TV, maybe one or two components of it have to be so unique to you that that's a barrier to entry, so other people can't copy your TV. But every other component in it are off the shelf. There are other things you can secure and source. So the way we look at it is going forward, not everything we bring into the company has to be exclusive. Not everything we bring in has to be owned by us. But as long as we have enough components that when we go to customers, we go to market, so maybe 1 or 2 out of 10 products and solutions are unique to us, then it makes the other 8 that much more valuable, because combined it makes a much better value proposition to the customer and a barrier to entry. So if I back up from our business today, never mind we made an investment in Iceberg where we own a percentage of it, and they're creating their solutions and can't wait for more information to come out on that. So there's that. But our own IP, we have IP in our control system. So we have a building automation control system that our people at VCI Controls have created. We have R&D staff. We created this, about 40 years ago. And those products today sit in many government facilities in the federal government in this country, and other buildings as well in Eastern Canada. That continues to be the IP that we have today that allows us to continue to grow our services business. So we do have that IP and just other access to other rights as well today.
This is great. Thank you so much for your time today, Frank.
Oh, no, my pleasure. Thanks for having me. And I have a feeling soon enough we'll have to be back, but there's a lot of fun things on the horizon.
Yeah, we'd love to invite you back. This was huge news today. Everyone was really excited in our community this morning. Nice to see the stock move up a little bit as well. And in my opinion, this is just the beginning. Once again, Frank Carnevale, the Chief Growth Officer of Universal PropTech. Thank you for joining us today, Frank.
Thanks, Rich. Have a great day.
And thank you guys for watching. If you're not winning, you're not watching. We bring you the winners. We brought you UPI first. They've been a big winner for our community. And in my opinion, they're just getting started. If you like the video, please smash the like button. comment down below, share the video everywhere, and subscribe. And remember, Rich TV Live is strictly for information and education purposes. Please do your due diligence, do your research before you invest in anything that we talk about or discuss here on Rich TV Live. In saying that, I think UPI has an incredible future and love to know what you guys think. Comment back. Let me know. This is Rich from Rich TV Live with Frank. Wishing you all have a nice day.